It's a quiet winter morning. Snowflakes gently fall, covering everything in a soft white blanket. Here I am, at a gas station, filling up the tank and clearing the windshield for the journey ahead. It's a simple task, something we rarely think about, but it's also essential. Without fuel, without clearing the view, the car, and I, wouldn't be going anywhere. It's funny how much life is like this. We all have dreams, goals, things we want to achieve. But sometimes they feel so far away, so overwhelming that we don't even know where to start. We forget that every journey, no matter how big, begins with something small. Let me take you back to a time in my life when this lesson became crystal clear. I was stuck in a job that drained me. Every day felt like a repeat of the last, and deep down, I knew I wanted to change. But the thought of leaving everything behind and starting over? It terrified me. What if I failed? What if I wasn't good enough? The fear of the unknown kept me in place for months. Then one evening, over coffee, a close friend asked me, "What's one small thing you could do right now to move closer to what you want?" I didn't have an answer at first, but the question lingered. That night, I opened my laptop and updated my resume. It wasn't a big move, but it was a step. And from that small action, momentum started to build. The next day, I sent out one job application, then another, and another. Within weeks, I was sitting in interviews. Within months, I had a new job. Looking back, I realize it wasn't the leap that changed my life. It was those tiny, seemingly insignificant steps that got me there. As I drive through these snowy streets now, the windshield wipers rhythmically clearing away the flakes, I'm reminded of that time. Progress doesn't come from giant leaps. It comes from small, steady actions repeated over time. Let me share another story. This one about my friend Mark and his relationship with his father. For years, they barely spoke. There had been an argument, harsh words exchanged, and neither of them knew how to bridge the gap. Mark would often tell me, "I don't even know where to start. The silence has gone on for so long." One day, I suggested he take a small step. Write a letter. Not a long one, not an emotional outpouring, just a few sentences to open the door. Mark hesitated, but eventually sat down and wrote, "Hi, Dad. I hope you're doing well. I just wanted to say I miss our conversations." He sent it, not expecting much. But a few days later, his father called. They didn't resolve everything in that one call, but it was a start. Over the next few months, they began to rebuild their relationship. One conversation, one shared memory, one small step at a time. This story reminds me that even the most complicated situations can begin to change with the smallest actions. Sometimes all it takes is clearing the snow from the windshield to see the road ahead more clearly. As I pass by the city's buildings, their rooftops blanketed in snow, I think about how often we underestimate the power of small steps. Whether it's a career change, mending a relationship, or pursuing a dream, the process is the same. Start small. Think about it. Even this drive through the city began with simple actions: filling the tank, starting the engine, clearing the snow. Each of those steps seemed minor, but without them, I wouldn't be here, moving forward. There's a quote I love. "Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out." It's a reminder that consistency matters more than perfection. Let me tell you about Sarah, another friend of mine who once dreamed of running a marathon. But Sarah wasn't a runner. In fact, she could barely jog a block without feeling winded. Instead of giving up, she started small. She walked for 10 minutes a day, then 20. Then she added short jogging intervals. It wasn't glamorous and it wasn't fast, but it was progress. 2 years later, Sarah crossed the finish line of her first marathon. She told me afterward, "It wasn't about being the fastest or the best. It was about showing up every single day and taking one more step. Thing figured out. They just require you to start. As the snow falls and the road stretches ahead, I want to ask you, what's one small step you could take today? Maybe it's writing down your goal, sending a message, or doing 5 minutes of research. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something. One of the most beautiful things about small steps is that they build momentum. Each step leads to the next, and before you know it, you've covered miles. Let me leave you with this thought. Every great achievement starts small. Whether it's a career, a relationship, or a dream, the first step is always the hardest. But once you take it, you're on your way. So, what about you? What small step will you take today? Share it in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Let's inspire each other to move forward, one step at a time. Because every journey, no matter how long or difficult, starts with that first small step. Are you ready to take yours?